Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today I am going to read the poem Daffodils. In the previous video I have already discussed about the biographical details of William Wordsworth and also focused on some of the context behind writing this poetry. So without any further ado, let's get started. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. So you see, here the poetic persona is the first person, and here the speaker is wandering aimlessly. Lonely means he might be sad for some reason, or he might have been feeling an absence of something or somebody in his life, and he is comparing himself to a cloud. That cloud uh, floats in the sky, sometimes over the hills, over the valleys. So, as a distant observer, the cloud always moves around lonely and observes about everything that are happening on earth. And like cloud, the speaker is here also lonely. So the first line is enjambed with the second line. The saying, just like cloud, he is also moving here and there without minding any certain destination. So in these two lines, we can find that the poet is using a figure of speech that is simile, and we also find an enjambment between these two lines. The first line continues in the second line, and that continuation, I think, is the continuation of life that symbolically presented through that enjambment. We always face ups and downs in our life, and with that ups and downs, life goes on. Life never stops, and that's how the poet is also wandering aimlessly and without satisfaction or a loneliness inside himself, but he continues his journey, uh, though he has not a set of destination decided yet. The word vales and hills may be signifying the ups and downs of a life, and with all those ups and downs of life, the speaker moves around without any aim and with a sad or lonely heart, and that loneliness is starkly interrupted by a sudden view of golden daffodils, and that the poet says in the next lines. So he says, when all at once I saw a crowd, means he suddenly got a view of all those daffodils. And where were all those daffodils? They were a host of golden daffodils. They were beside the lake, beneath the trees. Means they were under all those trees in the landscape. And what they were doing, they were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. It means they were as if they were dancing and with synchronicity. They were waving their heads or moving their heads side to side with the gentle breeze that were flowing all over this place. So the speaker has used in the third line a subtle metaphor by saying these golden daffodils, a crowd, that means the crowd of people. And he also personifies these golden daffodils by saying a host. He is attributing the human nature of dancing to all those daffodils, because these daffodils were moving their head with such a synchronicity as if they were dancing. And that synchronicity also signifies here through these words, the fluttering and also dancing. If we go through these lines once again, we can find that the dancing of the daffodils is bringing an image that is the synchronicity or order of nature that is portrayed through the fluttering and dancing in the breeze, the line. Poet is comparing these daffodils as a host, as if being a host, these daffodils are welcoming a guest. Here is like the speaker to their home, that is the Mother Nature. Comparison also goes on in the second stanza. The second stanza starts with also a simile. So here the stanza opens up like this: continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, and they traced in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. It means the daffodils are compared to the stars of the Milky Way, as if these stars are endless in numbers in the sky, and they are countless, just like these stars. These golden daffodils in the valleys are also endless. These countless presents of golden daffodils were spread all over the valley. It was beside the lake or beside the bay that were there in that landscape. And the speaker says, along the margin of a way, 10,000 saw I at a glance. What he has seen there, he saw that whenever he gazed at them, he saw 10,000 daffodils at a time. So here he wanted to say that all these daffodils he saw are not exactly the number 10,000, but a multiplicity of daffodils. And what they were doing, they were tossing their heads in sprightly dance, means they were gliding with happiness, or moving their head side to side, tossing their head side to side with such happiness as if they were dancing. And next stanza also says, the waves beside them danced. It means along with all these daffodils, the waves of the bay mm, are also dancing at the same time. The dance of the waves did not match the dance of the daffodils, and what they were doing, no, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee, as if the daffodils were more happy than the waves of the bay. And the poet says, a poet could not but be gay. It means the poet, with such joyous company of those daffodils, his heart, or the poet's heart, also fills with joy. So the poet says, a poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. It means only poet can be happy with the joyous company of those golden daffodils. And the next line he says, I gazed and gazed, but little thought. So whenever he was gazing and watching all those daffodils, he was also thoughtful at that time. And what he thought at that time, he thought about what wealth that show to me had brought. That natural company or beautiful company of those daffodils can bring what kind of wealth to his life. We all know that positivity comes whenever we meet nature. So that kind of positivity the poet would imbibe after that encounter or beautiful experience that he has once experienced in his lifetime. And we will find that in the next stanza. So if we go through these lines once again, we find that a personification also used once again by saying these daffodils dancing. So the human attribute once again attached to them. So here the speaker says the only poet can be joyful or can be happy with the company of those happy golden daffodils. Here, I think the poet is narrowing his view as saying only poet can imbibe all those positivity from nature. But in general, anyone can find positivity and also peace whenever they encounter a beautiful scenery or scenic view in nature. Moreover, you can say whenever we go uh, close towards nature, we find a kind of um, serene and positivity and also calmness. These things help our mind to be positive, and we also feel a happy state within ourselves. And that thought was going through his mind whenever he was looking at all those daffodils. All these three stanzas are about the experience that the poet once encountered. That encounter was with the golden daffodils, but now that memory, how that memory is bringing so much wealth in his life, that is described in the last stanza. So the last stanza opens up like this: for oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mode, they flash upon that inward eye. It means whenever the poet retire on a couch or get some rest on a couch, and or he might be suffering from pain, he always remembers all those past encounter with nature. And one such encounter was encounter with the daffodils, and that daffodils, that flash of memory comes in his inward eye, that means in the mind and in his imagination. And with that imagination he gains so much happiness that fills his mind once again. And this happiness, this serenity, and the positive attitude he has gained, that these things he is counting as blessings of nature that the nature has given to him. That flash of memory comes in his imagination, his heart dances with joy or happiness. So here the poet brings out the positivity that we always gain from nature whenever we remain with such natural company. We always find that serenity within us, and that is beautifully portrayed throughout this poem by William Wordsworth. That's it for today. I hope you like it, and I know I'm little bit nervous while talking to you, but I will improve my skill day by day. And thank you for watching, and I will meet you in the next video. Bye bye.